The Raiders looking for a win on a short week. Play-by-play announcer Andrew Siciliano tells us why the struggling Browns could be the remedy. Plus, how will the Raiders offense respond against Cleveland? Sirius XM's Robert Turbin chimes in, and we sit down with Raiders top corner Eric Stokes. The Silver and Black show starts now. Welcome into the Silver and Black show, everyone. I'm Amber Theoharis. The Raiders are 2-8. The offensive line is banged up. Geno Smith is about to face Myles Garrett, who has had 10 sacks in his last 3 games, and Ashton Jeanty carried the ball just 6 times last week. Yes, that is a reality that is hard to sugarcoat, but the Browns also have 2 wins and are starting a rookie quarterback in Shedeur Sanders. If there were ever a time to get back in the win column, it would be Sunday at home against Cleveland. Now to break down the matchup, we welcome in my good friend, Browns play-by-play announcer, Andrew Siciliano. And I know, Andrew, that the Browns are saying the same thing. If there were ever a time to get back in the win column, it's against the Raiders. So something has to give. 2-8 teams here. Both are trying to find something on offense. Both have their defenses somewhat keeping them afloat. And when you look at this matchup, what is going to be the very first thing that you're looking for?
It's fascinating, Amber, on so many levels, and it is great to see you. A couple of 2-win teams, and this is in no way a get-right game for the Browns in any way whatsoever. This is a game in which they're throwing a rookie quarterback out there who obviously has only gotten so much work because he's the number 2 quarterback, and that's how this league works. And they're going to try to get a game plan going and go on the road where they know they're going to have a lot of fans, because there are a lot of Browns fans in the building certainly a year ago when the Raiders beat the Browns, and they're going to try to get the offense going. And that's the big thing for them. We know the defense is good. You laid out everything Myles Garrett has done. Carson Schwessinger is not only Rookie of the Year on the defensive side, they're making an argument this week in Cleveland he should be an all-pro as a middle linebacker. And if you look at the numbers and you look at the tape, I think you can make a pretty good argument. But the offense is what has been lacking. If the Browns just scored 20 points a game this year, they'd be in the conversation for first in the AFC North. That's how mediocre their division is as opposed to the Raiders division, the AFC West. So get some offense going because the defense can't do it all by themselves.
But it's crazy to have a number 2 overall defense and still have just 2 wins. What is the defense doing schematically and consistently that makes them so tough? And how are the Raiders going to attack that if they want to move the chains?
I mean, the Browns under Jim Schwartz have been fairly consistent his 3 years as defensive coordinator. They're going to play single high, they're going to play man, and they're going to come after the passer. They're not a crazy blitz-heavy team, but they'll blitz when they need to. They'll take their chances when they need to. Sometimes they'll mix in some zone, and they've done that a little bit more in the last couple of weeks. But, hey, this is what we do. We're going to come out there and beat you. And it's not just Myles this year. They've really gotten more from the interior of the defensive line. Former Raider Malik Collins, not with the Raiders last year, but a Raider in the past. He has been a huge addition as a free agent signee in the middle of the line. Mason Graham, the 5th overall pick, doesn't have gaudy numbers, but he is helping with Collins to push that pocket. And Alex Wright, who probably doesn't play this week, but he just signed an extension this morning, has been really solid on the left side of the defensive end opposite of Myles. Also, and we love Greg Newsome, love him. And it was surprising, to say the least, when they shipped him to Jacksonville mid-season. But Tyson Campbell has come in as the other corner, former 2nd-round pick, and really played well in man coverage and in run support. Physical guy in run support. They've stayed healthy, fingers crossed, for the most part defensively. That's been a big issue the last 2 years. They are reliable, and that's all you can ask for.
And obviously the pass rush is the first thing that stands out with Myles Garrett. I mean, it's unbelievable to have 11 sacks in his last 4 games. Geno Smith's playing behind an offensive line that's struggling. They're banged up. He is tied for the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. How can Chip Kelly, how can Geno Smith, how can this offense try to get something going? What would be the key?
I mean, mixing a few runs would be great. Right?
More than 6 would be great, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because Pete always wants to run the ball. And this is going back to his days at SC. He always wants to run the ball, and obviously that's a formula for success in any offense at any level. And then seemingly this year, although the Bronco game maybe Maybe, obviously, they ran a little bit more, not a lot of success against a great defense there in Denver on a short week. But then you fall back into the past. And we saw that, obviously. And Pete came out after the game Monday night and said, hey, that was the plan, actually. We want to run the ball, but we thought we could get the play action going, and they kept going back to the play action. That'll work. You would not work. I would think that would have to be the plan as well against the Browns, but listen, the Browns have been susceptible to some of the zone read stuff where the ends crash and you could get outside, outside zone, toss cracks, stuff like that. I would expect them to try to do some of that. The Patriots, Josh McDaniels had some success doing that. But yeah, I mean, get the run game going would be my method.
I agree. Running downhill doesn't seem to be like a strong option. I think only Derrick Henry had over 100 yards against this team, and he had maybe 103, somewhere in that range. So
yeah, and 50 of that came in one big play.
Exactly. So it's going to be tough. Let's switch to the other side. The reason why two-win teams are in, a premier matchup is because Shedeur Sanders is going to get the start. We worked with his dad. He's a good friend of ours. We know what the hype is around this young man. But how are the Raiders going to be able to kind of get him? He was off balance against the Ravens. That's tough to come in like that. He now has a game plan. How do they get him off balance early?
It's a great question. He's going to make some plays. He's a gamer. We saw it week 1 of the preseason where he had not really practiced a lot. I mean, it was training camp, but it wasn't supposed to be his game. And then the injuries piled up, and all of a sudden you throw him in there. And in the highest rated NFL Network preseason game maybe ever, the kid threw a couple of touchdowns and looked the part. And you're like, okay, he could play. So you're going to see some of that. I have no doubt. You're going to see some plays. You're like, okay. The thing with him is to stay on time and in rhythm and to get the ball out quickly and consistently and read the field and not run backwards, not fall in to some of the bad habits that we saw in college. And we saw in week 3 of the preseason against the Rams, where to avoid the sack, instead of stepping up in the pocket, you're moving back in the pocket. There was a lot of good from his first performance against a very good defense in which Zach Orr brought the kitchens. I mean, he did everything to try to throw him off. There was also some bad. I think it's also important here to point out the tackles. On that final drive, both Browns starting tackles were out. Jack Conklin right side, Cam Robinson left side. Their health is key this week for the Browns' success. They were both back on the practice field Wednesday, so that is a good sign. Shedeur ball security, it's huge.
You bring up Zach Orr and the Ravens. I mean, that was my next question for you. Does Patrick Graham, the Raiders defense, they don't blitz a lot. They blitz about 29% of the time. Should they do that? Should they, as you said, throw the kitchen sink? Because a rookie quarterback, the one thing they haven't seen is a lot of different NFL defenses, and to switch it up might be the answer.
Yeah, I mean, logic dictates you throw any and everything you can to try to throw off a rookie quarterback. Now, on the plus side, the Browns and Shedeur and the starting O-line, they have a full week together to get on the same page and to try to correct some of the things that can be corrected after the performance last week. Through all of this, I think you saw growth. Second play that Shedeur was in there in the third quarter, he took the check down to David Njoku, got 7-8 yards. They called the same thing on the first play of his final drive, exact same thing, and against the same coverage, he's like, no, I'm not going to take the check down. I'm going to wait for Harold Fannin to clear behind the linebackers and hit him on a 25-yard in cut, and that showed growth. So I'm fascinated to see what kind of growth we see from week 11 to week 12.
Well, Raider Nation doesn't want to see that growth at all this week, maybe another week. Both of these teams, as far as offense, bottom 10 in scoring, and they both struggle in the red zone. Why, Andrew, you and I have seen so much football. Why does it just feel like this is one of those games where special teams might swing it?
Well, if that's the case, the Raiders may have the edge here. The Browns special teams has been a point of consternation, especially the last couple of weeks. They should have beaten the Jets on the road. The Jets had just traded their 2 best defensive players, but they got consecutive kick returns for touchdowns, 1 punt return, 1 kickoff return, and that was the difference in the game. Justin Fields in that game completed 2 passes beyond the line of scrimmage for 5 yards.
And
5.
And they lost.
He had a 42-yard screen for a touchdown. Breece Hall made a great play. It was against a 0 blitz. Justin beat it, got it to the perimeter, and Breece Hall did the rest. Great play by them. But the Browns special teams was their undoing a week ago. Bubba Ventrone, their special teams coach, was just on the podium a couple of hours ago lamenting the fact that they had a chance to down a punt on the 1-yard line, and poor technique. It was a touchback. That could have been a game changer this past week in a game they feel they should have won. Give Lamar Jackson 99 yards to go instead of 80 yards to go, but that did not happen. So special teams are key, and Daniel Carlson is as good as it gets. A.J. Cole, pretty good. Raheem Mostert, great in that return game. So, yeah.
That's what I was just thinking.
You got to be concerned.
Yeah, I was just thinking this could be an opportunity for Raheem. Give me a bold prediction, just anything that you could see happening in this game.
Well, see, I would have loved if Kenny Pickett got in the game, but it looks like Aiden O'Connell's probably the number 2, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Yeah.
Yeah. I really got to like Kenny when he was with the Browns there for a couple of months. A bold prediction. This will turn into a Quinshon Judkins, Ashton Genty. Who's the better rookie running back head-to-head? How about that?
I would love that. I think that would be great. That would be good for football. All right, Andrew, you're great for football. Great to see you there doing, your hometown team, covering your hometown team. I know it's a love of yours, and can't wait to see you out at the game. We'll say hello.
Amber, thanks for having me. Great to be on with you. Cannot wait to see you on Sunday. Evidently, there's like a go-kart race or something in town. There's something going on.
Yeah, I think they're.
Should be great, right?
They're pretty good drivers. They go around the city. Yeah, it'll be fun. All right, he's talking about F1. It's going to be here in Vegas. All right, thanks, Andrew. Coming up, going to be a long day for Browns rookie Shedeur Sanders. Eric Stokes is counting on it. The Raiders corner sits down with us next.
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
From the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, what a move!
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you. And so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
How about totally obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one, 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
The Silver and Black Show has been brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights, only at Allegiant.com. And by Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Las Vegas Raiders and the NFL.
Now second and 15 for the Chargers. Raiders bring 4. Herbert, straight pocket, throws right sideline. Tight coverage, bottled, and broken up. Fake. Right side, down the line, caught at the 19, and Brown is stood up by Stokes, waits for his teammate, and he would not let Brown go. Patriots at the 25, quick throw, wide receiver screen, out to DeMario Douglas. Carroll Stokes quite it beautifully, and he steps out of bounds on the near sideline.
He is all over the place. Eric Stokes hanging out with us here on the Silver and Black Show. And you were excited watching that video.
Always.
It's fun to see yourself make plays.
Yeah, it's always good to see yourself making plays, be excited, doing stuff that you love to do.
Well, you're definitely hyped. And look, this season isn't going the way you guys want right now. But Pete Carroll, you know, he talks about competing. He is a winner. He's won in his career. How has he been? What has the mentality been? What has the messaging been as far as keep going?
Man, we just been so close in a lot of these little things. It just come down to just us being technically sound, just us doing our assignment, and just every day, like what he always speak on, just compete, compete, compete. And that's been his messages throughout any little thing. Like no matter how things go, we just finna keep competing.
You signed here in the offseason, and you very quickly cemented yourself as cornerback one on this team. Do you take pride in stats like target rate, knowing that you're the least targeted corner on this team?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
It's like a little thing to where, like, it's a little note that you always want or something and all that stuff. But then again, like, I miss having targets. I miss having ops because I miss making plays. But it is
I've
what
never
it is.
heard that from a corner. I actually want you to test me so I can make a play.
Yeah, like you
Throw
just
it my way.
Yeah, from time to time you get bored out there, so like you lose it or whatever. So you gotta always try to refocus and relock back in or whatever. But when you get the targets and all that stuff, you already know, oh, this ball coming to me, so I got to be on my P's and Q's every play.
That's a dog mentality. I love that. And look, the defense has had a takeaway in each of the last 3 games. How does Patrick Graham help put you guys in a position to create these turnovers, especially recently?
Man, he just been like, we always have meetings, especially on Fridays or whatever. Like he always bring us in, especially the back end, bring us in and just give us key little notes and all this stuff throughout the little thing. And it just helps to where you just able to play a little bit more faster and all that stuff. So it just tremendously. And then like days like Thursday, we have turnover Thursday to where like we emphasize getting the ball. And it just pretty much translates into Sunday.
Now you're going up against the rookie, Shedeur Sanders. He's getting the start. Number one, did you ever study his dad, one of the greatest, Dion?
Actually, I did not. I was more of a Champ Bailey.
You were too young.
Yeah.
Oh, Champ Bailey.
I'm more of a Champ Bailey type of guy. So it was just like, especially since Champ went to UGA and all that stuff. So I was just more of a Champ Bailey type of guy. So I ain't never watched Dion really.
Well, primetime, he's worth watching. But look, it's good to see his son out there, but I know you guys want to make him uncomfortable. What's the key to making and keeping a rookie quarterback off balance?
I feel like personally on the back end, just with disguising to where like just showing him different looks, giving him different things, making him actually think and all that stuff, and just don't line up and show him what you give and all that stuff. Like just try to disguise, show him different looks, and just get him confused on different things.
Yeah, because he's going to see things he never saw at Colorado or Jackson State. Right? Chemistry in the secondary, we all know, is super crucial on any defense. Against Dallas, it was off for sure. What is the key to getting back in sync, especially against a struggling offense like Cleveland?
Man, just come out swinging early, like be hot, like what we used to say, like we like to start fast and go ahead and get everything rolling because we already know once we start fast, everything else feels good. Like you just feel the energy, you feel everything. Especially it's a home game, so like you can feel the energy, you can feel everything from the crowd and all that stuff. So the moment we start fast and all that stuff, it'll pretty much kills especially a rookie quarterback early. Like I personally believe.
We know you were used to the cheeseheads in Green Bay. What do you think of Raider Nation? You mentioned the home game where you're like, wow, this is pretty crazy.
This is crazy. But Raider Nation gets very crazy, especially like the big time games. So like our last, like the primetime game, Monday night, it's just crazy. It's coming out. You just seeing all black or whatever. It's just unbelievable.
Something tough about that all black, isn't it?
Yeah, all black is the best one. That's where to go.
When you look ahead at the remaining schedule, does it feel like this could be one of those tone setter games to kind of set the tone for how the rest of the season plays out?
For sure, like we already trying to just have a one game mentality, but you already know like we got seven more towards the end of the stretch, and who knows how these 7 can go. So let's go ahead and take it one game at a time and see how they go. Oh, see how this go.
Yeah. How about, we just talked about Raider Nation. What would be your message to them? You know, they're hanging in here in 2025. What would be your message to them right now?
Man, just look on the bright side. We got a lot of things coming, and it's a lot of little upside to this. Like, it's a lot of the moving parts that's going on. Like, this is a lot of our first years together and all that stuff. So it's a whole bunch of little things that still got to come together. But this back end, the final stretch, is going to be the best stretch.
One thing I can promise you, Raider Nation ain't going nowhere. They're the most loyal fans in the game. Tell me, how do the Raiders leave Allegiant with a win? What do you have to do?
Yeah, just go out there and play Raiders ball. Like, from the start, you got to be fast and physical. Like, that's the thing that we always speak about on defense. Like, we got to come out here and go ahead and set the tone, let it be known, like, man, nah, like, we are here to stay. We are here to do this and all that stuff. So come out and bang for 4 quarters, no matter how long. We can go in overtime for all I care and all this stuff, but let's bang. Like, man, let's have fun with it. Like, that's my biggest thing. Like, if you're not having fun out here, then this ain't for you. This shouldn't be for you and all this stuff. So let's have fun. Let's play for one another. Like, let's play for your brother and all this stuff. And let's really just go out here and just have fun with this at the end of the day.
You got me excited. I think I'm going to play opposite. No, you don't want me to play that opposite corner. All right, thanks, Eric. It's so nice to meet you, by the way, and hang out with you. And I know we're going to see, I have a feeling we're going to see a big play early from you. Big turnover that could change the game.
For sure.
All right, thanks, Eric.
No problem.
Coming up, Sirius XM's Robert Turbin tells us why balance is the key to beating the Browns this Sunday.
From the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada,
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go, to where we go, to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
How about totally obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one, 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years, guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
My Cause, My Cleats is back, and across the league, players are lacing up to honor the causes that shaped them, from supporting families in need to championing mental health and fighting diseases that affect those close to home. Every design carries a purpose, and every cleat carries a cause. For more information on the Raiders players' causes and cleats, head to raiders.com/cleats. Welcome back. As the Raiders get ready to take on the Browns, they're going to have to get that offense going, and to tell us how they can do it, let's welcome in Sirius XM NFL Radio's Robert Turbin, who also, you remember, he was a running back, fullback for the Seattle Seahawks, played with Pete Carroll, under Pete Carroll, won a Super Bowl with him. It's good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
One of the reasons I did want to talk to you is because you played under Pete. And I'm sure, you were with him in the good times when you guys won a Super Bowl. I'm sure there were struggles at times. Tell me about, what do you think his messaging is to his team right now, knowing the type of coach he is?
Well, he's all about the finish. And even throughout the course of a single game, like, you'll hear him famously talk about how you can't win the game in the first or second or third quarter, but you can win it in the fourth quarter because the finish is the most important piece. You know, every day at practice, training camp, in the spring during OTAs, during the regular season, he was very intentional about how we were finishing practices. And that's why we would always finish with the 2-minute drill, and he would find a way to make it competitive. We know that competition is a big thing, a big philosophy for him, but it was also because, you know, he wanted a strong finish from both sides. And so, you know, obviously the season hasn't gone the way that the Raiders hoped, certainly the way that Pete Carroll hoped, but he wants a strong finish from his team, and I'm sure that's what he's preaching right now.
What can we expect over these last 7 games, knowing that?
Well, I think you'll see at least a team that's going to come out and compete, right? You know, there's games that we've seen where, you know, the score kind of gets out of hand, and, you know, teams are seemingly quitting on coaches or quitting on themselves. And I don't think you'll see that type of mentality from the Raiders. That's not something that you see in a Pete Carroll led football team. There are some things that they need to correct if we think about it from a, you know, philosophical standpoint. Schematically, there are some things they can do differently, some things that can do better. But ultimately, you know, you'll still see guys putting in 100% effort, or else they won't be out there on the field. And I think that's something we can expect from the Raiders moving forward.
Well, one of the disappointments has been the offensive production this year, and I think with Geno Smith and what he's done in the past, a little more was expected. But we saw in the Monday night game, you know, he dropped back 51 times. That clearly wasn't the plan. What should the plan be against the Browns for this offense?
Well, if you think about Geno Smith, especially over the course of his career during the Seahawks, you know, when he was at his best, there was balance within the offense. You get like 24 passes, 24 runs, you know, throughout the course of a game. And that's really when, you know, he was playing at an all-time high, when he was efficient and he was throwing at a high clip percentage-wise, and he wasn't turning the football over. And folks around the league are looking at Geno Smith like, wow, look at the way he's turned his career around. He's a really, really good quarterback. Maybe a top 10 type caliber player, because of how efficient he was and how he was leading the team in the way that he was playing. If you're going to drop him back 40 to 50 times in a game, that's just not the strength of Geno Smith. And it certainly isn't the strength of the football team right now when you look at the personnel and where their best players are. I don't know what the Raiders have in Ashton Jeanty yet, you know, because the story is still being written. The book is still being written for Ashton Jeanty in his career. But you certainly can't be okay with him only getting the ball less than 10 times, multiple times throughout the course of a football game. They have to have much more balance if they want to see more success from Geno Smith.
But here's the thing, Turbo. Chip Kelly knows that, right? Chip Kelly knows that he wants to get the ball to Ashton Jeanty more than 6 times, like we saw in Monday Night Football. From a play calling standpoint, what is going wrong? Why are they abandoning the run? Is it happening too early? And are there more creative ways to get Ashton the ball?
Well, I think they're utilizing him in the passing game. And so, you know, Chip Kelly and this offense, they're being creative in that way. But sometimes philosophically, you kind of revert to who you are as a play caller. And, you know, some play callers, they just love to throw the football, you know, whether it's good for the team or whether it's not. Now, obviously, Chip Kelly's not going out there and putting together a game plan, you know, for the team not to be successful. But at the same time, you do deal with some play callers, and I'm not saying this is Chip, but I'm just saying you do deal with this, you know, at all levels of you know, coaches who are calling plays, where there's some stubbornness in terms of, you know, altering who they are as a play caller. Sometimes coaches don't want to make the adjustment. You know, some defensive coaches believe in cover 3 and they don't want to run cover 2, even though it might be better for their personnel and who they have on the field. And so, you know, to me, I just think that there's a space where, from an adjustment standpoint, you know, maybe it's Chip or whoever it is that's calling the plays, can alter what they like the most and do what's most beneficial for the personnel that's on the field.
Well, there's no doubt they like the play action pass. A third of the plays last week against the Dallas Cowboys were off the play action pass. And that kind of seems odd when you can't establish the run, because that's what makes that work. So you talk about adjustments. How should they be adjusting when the game plan is we're going to run the ball and we're going to play action pass, but the run game's just not there?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because you can say the same thing about Pete Carroll's old team, which is the Seahawks. They had a good game last week on the ground, but over the course of this season, they haven't really been all that efficient on the run. And so when I think about the run game, I don't really look at the numbers. I just look at the impact that the run game is having. And the impact that the run game is having based on the respect that is given by the defense. And that respect is noticeable when your play action pass is still working. And so one of the things that, has been successful for Seattle and Sam Darnold is their play action pass. And you look at the numbers, it's like, well, Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet, they're not having good seasons, but they're doing good enough in the run game and they're staying committed to it enough where you just have to respect it as a defense. And so the play action pass is working. For the Raiders, they're just not sticking with it. You got to be okay with your back not being able to get 4 yards per carry in some games, but you still got to give it to them 16 to 18 to 20 times. So the defense knows, like, no matter what, we're still going to hand the football off, and you got to respect it, because if you don't, that's when the big runs happen, and no defense wants to give up big runs, right? You hear about every defense. It's all about stopping the run, right? And so if the Raiders can just stay more committed, and that's what I expect to see moving forward, hopefully, I think that can open up some things for them in the passing game, especially in their play action scheme.
And that I love to hear that there is hope in that sense. At the end of the day, it's just going to be really tough with the offensive line banged up. When you're missing Colton Miller and you're missing JPJ, it's difficult. But look, this is not the first team to have a banged up offensive line. How do they find a way to play better as a unit when, you don't have your starters?
Yeah, it's a great question. The thing that helps offensive linemen the most is two things. A, running the football, right? You want your offensive linemen early on in the game, especially, to feel like they're getting off the ball and they're driving their feet, they're getting contact, and they're just getting a feel for the game. When you're throwing the ball 51 times, your offensive linemen, they're retreating all the time. So they don't have this feel of or mindset of being in attack mode, because they're always stepping back. They're kick stepping back. The defense is the one in attack mode now. And so they feel like they're just being more on the defense than the offense. Well, you got to let your offensive line be on the offense and go get some people. So that's one way. The other way is, quick throws, get the ball out of Geno Smith's hands quickly on some screen throws. Maybe get Brock Bowers out there, use his versatility, let him catch some passes at the line of scrimmage, let the offensive lineman get out and try to get some guys in space. A difficult task to do, but again, you put those guys, in attack mode, and hopefully you get a couple completions where, there's some confidence built and Geno's able to get into an early rhythm. And so those are really two ways that I look at offensive linemen, especially when you're thinking about backup guys. They can not only get in rhythm, but build some confidence throughout the game.
We're seeing a theme here, aren't we? Stick with the run. Try to stick with the run.
Yeah, no doubt.
It can open up a lot of things. Look, let's switch over to the defensive side. I know you're an offensive guy, but the pass rush hasn't been there as much as the Raiders had expected this year, especially with somebody like Max Crosby over there. But I do know that the Browns cannot win the game if they don't score points. So how do the Raiders really take advantage of the fact that Shedeur Sanders is getting his very first start and he's a rookie?
Yeah, they got to force the ball to be in his hands and see what he can do. The thing about the Browns offensively, the one thing that they have been able to hang their hat on, going back to, the topic of discussion today, is the run game. They got good backs, they've got a strong offensive lineman, and they've always sort of built their offense around, running the football first. So the Raiders have to be intentional about taking that away. Now you put the ball in Shedeur Sanders' hand, and what do we know him to do? Well, he's known to hold on to the football. He's known to retreat out of the pocket, maybe in times where he doesn't need to be. Those are advantages for Max Crosby, and these other pass rushers. But it's the other pass rushers that are really going to have to step their game up in some ways in order for this pass rush for the Raiders to be more efficient. Teams, you can see it. They're double teaming Max Crosby. They're using tight ends and running backs to chip Max Crosby. And even though he's got one of the best motors that we've seen in the NFL, he's only human. And over the course of 4 quarters, you're going to get worn down if you don't have help. So these other guys really have to step up.
Lastly, it just seems like Patrick Graham, we might see him blitz a little bit more. Do you feel that? I mean, they're not really a team that blitzes, a defense that blitzes a lot, but just to confuse Shedeur.
Yeah, the thing about Coach Carroll historically, and I'm Sherm can attest to this, B-Wags, he's not really, a heavy blitzing guy, but there are areas throughout the course of a game and even throughout the course of a season. We talked about adjustments on the offensive side of the football. Sometimes you just have to get out of your element a little bit. You not necessarily not be who you are, as a coach, but there's a space where you want to be able to try new things, and maybe that's bringing more pressure, especially if you're not able to get home with the front four. So you got to take chances when something's not working. Then you want to be able to have the space to alter your game plan a little bit or alter your scheme a little bit. Take some chances and see if you can put pressure on the quarterback that way by blitzing more guys.
Gosh, Robert, I could talk to you forever about this game, but finish this sentence. The Raiders will win if?
The Raiders will win if Ashton Genty touched the ball at least 18 times in this game.
There you go. That's consistent with your theme. Why wouldn't you say that now? All right, we appreciate you coming on. Robert Turbin, so fun talking to you, and hopefully we can have you back on another time.
Appreciate it. Anytime.
All right, thanks a lot. Coming up, why using his instinct might give Geno Smith a boost. That's next in One Last Thing.
How about Totally Obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one? 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
From the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, what a move!
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
The Silver and Black Show is brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights, only at Allegiant.com. Victory Live, connecting the world of live experiences. And by 1800 Tequila, official partner of the Raiders. Taste is everything. Please drink responsibly. Welcome back. The Raiders host the Cleveland Browns coming up on Sunday, and in order to get the win, they're going to have to produce on offense and have that defense still playing the way it has been in certain games. And to talk more about it, let's welcome in Bridget Condon from NFL Media. And Bridget, we're so excited to have you. Thanks for joining us.
I'm so excited to be here. What a fun matchup. I know people might look at this and think maybe not so much, but so many storylines going into today or Sunday.
Well, let's talk about him. When you're looking at this game, you're preparing for this game, what is the number one storyline that you'll be focusing on?
It's Shedeur Sanders' first start in the NFL. He said it yesterday in the locker room, you can't miss this moment. He knows he's the guy, and this is his opportunity to go out and prove it. Shedeur Sanders has been so polarizing in the NFL so far. You either love him or you hate him, but regardless of what your opinion is, Shedeur Sanders is going to go out there and show what he's capable of doing against this Raiders team, who you just mentioned it, has a really dominant defense. Max Crosby, I know, is going to be all over Shedeur, or trying to at least. And, the Browns have some injuries to their offensive line, so it's going to be a challenge for Shedeur Sanders making his first start, but all eyes will be on Las Vegas this weekend for sure.
I think the X factor will be for the Raiders if they're going to win this game.
They need to affect the quarterback. They need to get after Shedeur Sanders. Look, in his small debut, of course, he did go in last week. Dillon Gabriel out with the concussion. We saw Shedeur for a little bit. He made some decent throws, but overall his performance wasn't that great. I think, we keep talking about the same storyline. He was blitzed a ton. He wasn't getting the ball out quick enough. He had that interception. So if Vegas can dominate on defense and keep the Browns offense off the field, they have a good shot. And, this is a really interesting game. As I mentioned, both of these teams 2-8, but there's so much on the line in terms of the future of these programs. These are two franchises that are in building periods, right? They're both in the top 5 right now in terms of NFL draft picks for next season. Geno Smith, Pete Carroll trying to rebuild this Raiders organization. And then over for the Browns, they're trying to figure out who's going to be the guy for them going forward. Is it going to be Dillon Gabriel? Is it going to be Shedeur Sanders? Or is it going to be somebody else? I believe they have those 2 first-round picks next year in the draft. So this is really a future-defining game for both of these organizations. And I think it's going to be a battle on defense. Whoever can affect the quarterback more will come away with this winners.
Bridget, it's so great talking to you. I appreciate you taking some time as you're getting ready for your travels this weekend, but thanks for joining the show.
I appreciate it, and have fun this weekend. What a story.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. All right, take care. Time now for one last thing. All great quarterbacks call audibles. Monday night on Raiders Game Day, our co-host James Jones asked a really fair question to Trey Tucker after the game.
I never see Geno Smith check out of a play or check into a play. If you're going to drop back and throw the ball 42 times a game, does he have the ability to say, hey, man, they playing cover 3, run a hitch? Or is the play call just the play call? Because when I'm watching you guys, I'm like, the play call just looks like the play that's called. What if the defense is correct? I've never seen him check out of a play. Does he have the ability to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, whenever we call a play, there's always a secondary to it. There's always an element of a second play on there, whether it's run, pass, pass, whatever it may be.
So if he has the autonomy to do it, then why don't we see Geno Smith call more audibles? Well, here's what he had to say about it when asked after the game.
You can check into any play at any time, but would that be the right thing to do? Would you just go off script and just start calling your own plays? I don't think that's the right way to go about it. I think the right thing to do is to do what we practice and what we're coached to do. And like I said, the plays are there. I don't think there was any issue with the play calling. The plays are there. Guys are open. You guys watch the film. I know we got a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks who like to watch film and take screenshots and see where guys are open.
That answer made me wonder, how do the greatest quarterbacks approach changing plays? Here's Raiders minority owner Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, a few months ago on The Herd.
You're trying to give the quarterback to really be a field general. Quarterback, you got the last swipe at the pencil. The defense can call their play. They're going to line up. Offense calls a play in the huddle. They walk the line of scrimmage. Defense calls a play. They adjust to the formation offense is lined up in. They have their call set. It was always my job to say, well, I know what my play is. Now I look at the defense. Okay, I think I know what they're in. Does what I have call, is it going to work? And that was my judgment. And they would have to live and die with my judgment, the entire team. Now, I developed the trust within the team, my teammates in the organization to say, Tom, we want you to have that. We trust you to have that final swipe at that pencil. But we're not going to snap the ball into, let's say there's a safety blitzing off the right side, and I got to run right at the right side, and I know that nobody can block him. I'm not going to snap the ball and run it into the strong safety blitzing and tackle our running back 4 yards in the backfield.
So sometimes, as Tom says, you just got to trust yourself. And against the Browns, what does Geno Smith, who, mind you, was a Pro Bowl playoff caliber quarterback at once, have to lose adjusting to what he sees from the defenses at the line of scrimmage? That'll do it for us. It's Raiders-Browns from Allegiant Stadium. Kickoff is set for 1:05 Eastern. Have a great weekend, everyone.